Today we review the GRS IKARI Warriors Super Stick. This product is available for pre-order from thunderstickstudio.com for $79.99 plus shipping. Currently only available in the USA, but check back for availability in your country. This joystick will work with any system that accepts USB Type A joystick functionality. In the near future, I'll be doing videos showcasing a Raspberry Pi and RetroPie as well as Mister. So stay tuned for those. The joystick is easiest to use on a PC and play with the SNK 40th anniversary game, which I will demonstrate later in this video. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get the 40th anniversary game pack for free. Now this joystick is a fully functional rotary stick with spinner, 8 or 4-way standard joystick functionality, and a push-pull option along with other accessories, making it the best joystick for games that use a rotary joystick, including Ikari Warriors. As we move to the unboxing, you will get 6 HAP-style buttons, but they are not HAP buttons. They have built-in micro switches with 0.110 connecting terminals, not external switches such as cherry switches. The buttons have a good spring bounce back feel and are comparable to Sanwa buttons. In this box, you'll get 3 extra joystick top covers, 1 for each swappable rotary top. You'll get a button wiring harness and a hat encoder harness, which will be explained later. You will get a couple different types of bolts, more than you will need. You'll only need 4 to assemble the joystick to the box or a control panel. And you also get an Allen wrench there if you need to disassemble the joystick, but you should never have the need to do that. You get a mode way button. The button currently has 4 different modes to choose from, with an additional mode coming in the near future with a firmware upgrade, as well as 3 different way selections, all explained in detail in the manual. You get a joystick and a joystick base with 3 different pin connectors and a USB-C port that's used for power and data transfers for firmware upgrades. You'll also get a bracket for the top of the joystick. It's basically a spacer or assembly bracket. It is optional. You do not have to use it. The joystick comes with the 12-way rotary top on it, but there are 3 more optional tops, including 8, 16, and a free spinning slot top. There is a bag with zip ties and an extra wiring harness. This wire harness is the same one that is already attached to the joystick. It is extra. If it breaks, you have an extra one. There is also a plastic wire guide for the USB cord that connects the controller to the system. Included is the USB Type A to Type C connector and the hat encoder that you may need during setup, depending on what games you play and what setup you are using. For this demonstration, we are going to be using the box it comes in to set up our joystick and buttons, and I will show you a couple mods I've already done to this box to make it more user-friendly and more capable. The first thing we're going to need to do is punch out all the holes in the box that are perforated. It is a very strong box, so you may need a tool or at least use 2 hands to kind of punch these holes through and open. Use a pen to punch out the holes for the bolts. And now we're ready to assemble the joystick and buttons. Now you're going to put 4 bolts through the top of the box, and then we're going to assemble the joystick housing to the box. It is imperative that you put the housing the right direction into the box. It's going to be with the pin connectors facing to the outside of the box or to the right of the box in this picture. One quick tip, put the harnesses on the joystick housing before you assemble the box. It's difficult to get these harnesses on once the joystick is in the box and tightened down. The larger harness is for the way button as well as the other buttons, and that particular harness was for the A hat encoder harness. The joystick has a built-in harness and it will go into that pin connector right there. We'll place the joystick base into the box and then secure the base with the nuts and bolts provided. Now the next thing we're going to do is put the joystick top through the top. We're going to feed the wiring harness through the top first, and as you set this joystick in, you'll kind of feel it sit into the base in one way. It'll just drop in and you'll feel it kind of secure into the base nicely. Once the joystick is in the correct position, you'll notice this black piece with a spring attached. You'll push it in and twist it to the right 90 degrees and you'll feel it lock into place holding the joystick into place, and boy, it feels nice once it's in there. You'll also get 2 additional gates. It comes with a circular gate on it. You'll get a square 8-way gate as well as a 4-way gate. I'm changing mine out to the square gate. That's personal preference, and also preference of what games you're going to be playing, 8-way or 4-way. You will then take the harness from the joystick and put it into the joystick base. There's only one direction, but make sure you don't force it in the wrong way. We will then start putting in the buttons. That is the mode way button, and there is still a harness connector from the 12-pin connector that will plug right into that button. Next, you're going to want to screw in all 6 buttons. Next, we're going to fix all the button wires to the buttons. The black wires are the ground wires, and then there is a preferred schematic for all the colored wires. You're going to want to use pins 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 and color code those pins onto the buttons. If you use the other wires that are not coded, pins 7 through 12, you may not be able to use the SNK game properly. You'll notice the pins for wires 1 through 6 were used for the mode way button. The first thing you notice with this setup is it doesn't have a start and select button. Now we're going to add a start and select button, but you don't need this for the SNK 40th anniversary. If you're going to use this joystick with something like a Raspberry Pi and RetroPie or Batocera, they do prefer you have a select and start button mapped. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill 2 holes through the top. I had some smaller buttons already available, but the one key thing to note is you want buttons with a 0.110 terminal. All the wiring harness terminals are 0.110 connectors. Make sure you make note of that. Now we're going to tighten these buttons up, and then we're going to put our ground and pick 2 other wires. There's 6 additional wires that you can use for additional buttons on the wiring harness. We're going to pick 2 of those, and we're going to assemble those onto the terminals. When we're done, we'll have 2 additional buttons, and we'll use those to map start and select with our RetroPie setup. One additional mod we're going to do is we are going to cut a groove on the blue side of the box, and we're going to use this to put under the red top of the box and use it to secure the box, make it a little more sturdy. Now, the reason we need to do this is because the box will not slide on once you have the USB cable placed into the red top of the box. Once we place the USB cable through the designated hole and put the plastic housing wire holder into the box, we will now be able to push the blue top underneath the red top since we cut that groove out. It also allows for you to place some feet or sticky feet on the bottom so the joystick doesn't slip while you're playing. With this setup, you'll also be able to pull the blue part of the box off if there are any wire problems. One additional tip is get a piece of Velcro and affix the hat encoder onto the bottom of the box, leave it plugged in, and you'll have it there when you need it in the future. All right, let's take a look at some gameplay on the SNK 40th Anniversary Pack on our Prime Gaming Amazon app. The first thing you're going to need to note is that your mode setting has to be on purple. You'll hold the mode button down for a few seconds and change the modes until you get to the purple setting. You'll notice in this game app there's tons of games, and you can play them all because this joystick acts as a standard 8-way joystick as well as a rotary joystick. We're going to launch the game and you'll see a bunch of options. We're going to take a look at controls. You can remap your buttons if you want to. One thing to note is that the default setting is 1-player start is the spacebar. So you will start the game with the spacebar on your PC. Now, what's incredible about this setup is it was simply plug and play. I didn't need to do any of this. If I would have just plugged in the USB to my PC and started up the game, it would work fine. And it does. I am shocked at how well this rotary joystick works with this game. If you use this on other systems like a Raspberry Pi, you're going to have to do some mapping, but with this setup, it's just plug and play. Now, the original Ikari used a LS30 joystick, which was a 12-position rotational joystick, but the Warrior only moved in 8 directions. So I'm using the 12 rotary top, but you'll notice that it works perfectly. Rotate it 8 times, and he moves 8 times to 8 different directions to shoot. The feel of this joystick is incredible. It's so accurate and feels terrific. I'm so excited that Glen has brought us this product and we can play some of our favorite games, including Ikari Warriors, Heavy Barrel, Guerrilla War, and even games like Forgotten Worlds, Frontline, Midnight Resistance, and so many more. Hey, thanks for watching and more to come on this awesome joystick.